this every day? Yeah, I do this stuff. In other words, you have time. He worked at Sherman and Williams, a paint company. And for some reason he got off that day. He went to the dentist or the doctor, or he had to train for a fight, something like that. Do you do this every day? To him, going across the bridge and seeing the beautiful buildings, do you do this all the time? I said, yeah. I thought about it. I said, yeah, I do this stuff all the time. Sometimes it's the white folks in Golden Gate Park. You see pictures, I go there and I hang out with the white folks. Why? Because they're human beings and they got stuff going on, right? And you got to be there, all their hair hanging down and they got flowers all over the place. You got to figure out. The other Negroes didn't, but I did. I had to figure out. I wanted to know, what are you thinking about? What are you doing? What's your hopes and dreams? Why? Because you're human beings, and a lot of people, they're not interested in, they're only interested in what they're doing, right? And so, today, this is just wonderful. It's not only this means that nobody could influence us on what to do. And I try to explain to my friends what this stuff means, but they don't get it right now. They don't get it. They don't get it just, in a different language, and what the hell is it talking about? They don't get it. But I'm going to explain to them. In fact, I'm going to give them this CD and some of the other DVD, whatever it is, to explain to my friends what environment we're in. And the difference between what they're thinking about 50 years ago and how big that was. And they can't see what that's why I stopped being around them, because a few years ago we was getting in an arena that they wasn't going to understand. They wasn't going to understand this. To this day, I knew they wasn't going to understand it, because they was telling me, well, do this. If they go to the Nation of Islam, they search. They was talking about Khadijah. They search them down. They do this. You know what I mean? And they were just giving their advice based on. So I knew that they wasn't in the trend. I have to try to educate them now on what's going on. They don't know that anybody from their neighborhood could be farther in advance than anybody they see on TV. Any analyst, right? News commentator, any old time. They had Sam Donaldson on before his neck was thick. I said, those people, they don't know. It's not arrogance, they don't know anything. And they're not, what they find out, they don't have the ability or wherewithal. They don't have the moral fabric to speak about it. Because they work for Rupert Murdoch or somebody, right? They're not gonna, you can't say those things. You can't teach the people, right? And the people don't even believe that you got a snowball's chance in hell to deal with the system. Well, that's what we're going to teach them. That's what we've already done. That's already done, right? That's already done. This stuff right here, this stuff is done. And for modern policing and everything, this is wonderful, wonderful. You're talking about modern, you're talking about, right up to date, the police and the tattletales standing right there. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And here's a masjid. You can see if you look hard back there, the sign in Arabic, Masjid al-Islam. past, present, and future is up to date. Right? When they talk about what imam do they have being handcuffed, half naked, being thrown in a police car? That means I'm an expert on this. Why? The amount of times I ran that race, 50 times. I was arrested in that spot 8 times with the doggone deed in my hand. Right? This is absolute. Someone has to educate the white folks. You know, like they got white folks running around. And you mentioned 16, 19 to something other. They say, no, we're going to, what is Trump saying? He was saying some dumb stuff like America, America. Well, they don't actually know. A lot of Americans, they think we're making this up. Although they see the man getting brutalized, right? Okay, you need a live specimen to go over it and over it and over it. Let's see. Not only this, but remember from 1971, remember the stacks of stuff where the police tried to hide that, oh, you don't have no arrest record, Harley just wanted to arrest. And I got the stacks of paper. I went to the bail's bond. Sure, I said, yeah, he just, subpoenaed his records. And the thing is, you seen it before? Unbelievable, right? Okay, all that's for a reason. That is for a reason. So, this comeback, people talk about Saudi Arabia. I didn't even mean it. No, that was here. This is you can tell, boy, I was a teenager almost then. Black beard, not a script. That means I had a Hajj visa. Maybe that was 87 or 88. Hajj visa. But they sent it back to me when it's too late to go to Hajj. And then actually, when I looked at the news, I was glad because they was killing people at Hajj. In 87 and then in 88, hey man, I said, hey, thank y'all very much. Just like I had an invitation from Sheikh Ra'ad in Palestine. This was for September the 15th, 2000 something or other. That means 2001. That means I would have left here to get there at a certain time. Well, I didn't go. I didn't go because I was not going to fly anywhere where I have to fly into Israeli territory. And Israelis can just say, come on here, nigga, and they can have you boiled in oil. They can do anything they want because, right? They do that. So I said, hey, shoot, I ain't going. And then all of a sudden 9/11 happened, and I would have been over there for I don't know how long. They might have tried to blame it on me, right? I'm just saying. This thing about a comeback is arranged so that we can give the people a live model of possibilities, what can be done. The stuff is not made up, it's real. The people don't even think about it. Can you imagine that our burden is trying to bring the people up to speed on worldwide events? And we have to have so much extra credibility. I'm not going to cry about it, but because we're black. You think, you can't know anything. My friends, they think something is going on, but it ain't what's really going on. You know what I mean? Because they cannot picture. They can't picture. Even the family, nobody can picture that you got no sense that all the white folks that they see on TV and all of them, and you forecast this what's going to happen. That's right. Tell the truth. 1, 2, 3. da-da-da-da-da, and it all happens just like that. And they don't have nobody to do that. If we was calling horse races, we could just get rich. Want to get, we just said this horse is going to win, right? We can handicap if it was horse racing, right? Or if it was dog racing, right? We just get rich. We said this one's going to win, that one's going to win, right? That's what's going to happen. And, that one going to act like he's going to win, but he ain't going to win. And that one act like he's going to lose, but he's going to win. And all, all the little extras. So that's why we call this a comeback. This period is technically a comeback. Not that anything happened like in the 70s or what it was, but this is a period, a design period. This didn't just happen. It didn't just float this way. This is what we produced. Okay. The next page up there, anticipation, longevity, endurance, survival. Ability, stickability, focus, bounceability, the ability to bounce back. Right there it also has, in quick scribble, 2 assassination attempts, 1970. And it was too. I'm telling them right in the same thing I think it was in the transcript. I said, yeah, what y'all are talking about, old Sergeant Sansucci and them. And then I actually have other sheriffs, that had called for trial in LA, and Officer Dillard. Officer Dillard was a nice white guy, young white guy, and he was just a sheriff, but he wasn't like, when I see him out in the street, hey, and when I go to be out on the county jail, it just, gravy train type stuff. But, so I had him come down to LA for my federal trial, and when they questioned, the Fed said, the federal U.S. attorney said, well, whatever they did in Oakland, it didn't have anything to do with us. In other words, he didn't just told them, yeah, he was on my crew. The sergeant came out with a pistol on and took him off the crew in a minimum security and took him to maximum security. When he was in maximum security, they tried to run their game. And it's the most famous case in California. Everybody knows it. You know what I mean? Everybody is saying, they talk about it. Yeah, man, they tried to move on the brother. Big Hank and Iceman, fought off the white boys, and they tried to do this. And my son was telling me about it. I said, man, I forgot about that. Some of the stuff that he was telling me I had forgot about. So he had heard it from everybody else. You see what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is, all of the stuff that we got, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and it's bigger, and this is what longevity is about. This is what tolerance is about. This is what stickability is about. This is the ability to hold on through all of those years, because you got at the back of your mind, and you're hoping that there's a good reason for it. Now, in all of these notes, we clearly, moral imagination, there's another one on the second page. Always change at the right time. I don't know, it's right under 2 assassination attempts in 1970.
Oh, okay, yes.
It says, always change at the right time. And then you could tell it means history, banned in UK. What does that mean? Everybody in the movement, and we're studying the movement, they didn't change at the time. We can know people that we know, right? they did not change at the right time. They would not change. And if you ask them, help people to understand the COINTEL program, they wouldn't mention it. They just tell you, go pray fast, right? In those words, they would, exactly, and they would, and the same thing that they could have helped people learn is the same thing that they used on them to finish them off. Okay. Moral imagination. Realization, skills. Nolan King down at the right. Well, we'll skip over that a little bit. The next page deals with here. Write up structure, job description. Imam, Brother Tufail. Amir, Brother Furqan. Wazir, Jalil, Wazir of Media, Ahmed. You know, those people came through here the other day. You remember people used to take all the pictures, Ahmed and them, they did a good job. Well, where are they at now? You know, you come here for prayer, and the same people that was coming here strapped for prayer, and when they had the people, when they arranged a little attack supposed to be on my grandson, and the nigga that was with him, 19-year-old, well, I had to do it because to this brother, and that stuff on the hill with them Negroes, I said, absolutely not. And the Negroes that come in here with guns ready to go deal with them niggas, when it's time to do something for real, they fly away. They fly away. That's why I said we will never fight no other niggas. We just don't do it. I don't care whether it's gang warfare. I don't care what it is. We have to stay focused on boss man, right? And that's what we focus on right now. And that's why he's upset. And look, nobody else in this country is doing that. They're just not doing it. Okay? So we have to educate people on the whole thing. We have to, that's return to Oakland, mean that when we go back to Oakland, just imagine the picture. That means all the stuff that we've shown, all that stuff that we have to deal with, right? Not have to deal with, we want to deal with it. We set them up, they ain't set us up. Can you imagine? We set them up. We arranged for them to do. It's like design fitna, we call it. But design fitna, by the time we wrote about it in 2011, was years old. We was already doing it. In fact, everything we tell them, we almost finished it. Why do we tell them what we're doing? Near the end, because we have to improve at our own rate of improvement, not at theirs. So we have to tell them what we just did. Boss man, we just stopped sending them out. Why? So he can get something together. Because he gets something together, you'll have to improve. You can make him tighten his game up. You have to. Why? Because look at the game now. Look at the world that it is right this minute, right? It's moving. If we weren't moving at the rate we're moving, we would be behind. We would be sitting there with everybody else. Right? We would be sitting there trying to figure it out. We're not trying to figure out nothing. We're explaining to the people. That's what we have to do, is they have to understand that niggas know what they're talking about. Right? That's the hurdle. Higher than white folks. You know why? None of our people have ever challenged the system. Just don't do it. All of the big gangsters that was with me, they challenged each other, but they never even thought about challenging the system. They don't even think about it, right? So I have to explain to them. When I go back, they have. So if you say, well, this is the president of Iran, right? Da, 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 da. And this is the Negro. That means such a thing, right? Okay, we have to tell them what it means. We have to explain to them what it means. We have to get them, this is the rock bar. We have to tell them, this is the rock bar. You know who that is? White folks can't even meet him, right? You have to tell them that this is the Negro, right? And they see it. One of my friends said, I got an Afghani friend, and I showed him the picture on the phone. He said, Madeleine Albright couldn't even talk to them. That's all he knows. But he don't know what it means, right? And they don't know what the front page of the political newspaper in a foreign country means. They don't know, right? And then, you know, the little detailed stuff, the little headline here, the little headline, what does that mean? It's telling them what they have to do to get themselves together. That's all. You see what I mean? Black lives matter, Negro lives matter. The police in front of our masjid in Oakland, just imagine. And they taking me to jail. I'm coming out of the shower. Technically I wasn't showering, I was taking an enema to clean out. You can see I'm half naked. They barefooted, they don't give you a chance to put on nothing. But that's the news today. You see what I mean? That's the expert news. We don't have to listen to what nobody say downtown. When we tell them this is what's going on in America, this is what's going on in America. And remember, what was that we was dealing with last, this right here. Declaration of Independence. Remember the part where Thomas Jefferson is talking about the issue of slavery and how cruel it is for a Christian king to bring people over here, da, 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 and then to get those people, because the British was trying to get the Negroes to rise up against, right, them, George Washington and all of them. You can't imagine that they got a book called The Book of Negroes. Did y'all see that on your thing? The Book of Negroes. Yeah, it's the Book of Negroes. The Book of Negroes.